Application fees. Should you charge them? Let's talk about it.
Five, four, three, two, one, zero, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Landlord Coach Daily Show. My name is Mark Dolfini, Landlord Coach and host of the Landlord Coach Daily-ish Show. It's good to see you today, and today we are going to be talking about application fees. Should you charge them? And I know you're going to ask, so I'm just going to address the 800-pound girl in the room. Yes, I'm casual today. So many of you know I am working out with our 15-year-old, Leland. So he's expressed some interest in working out at the gym. And of course, my 48-year-old body seems to think that it's still 19. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to cut this sweatshirt off my body. And I'm wearing a Lycra shirt underneath because I still think it's 1984 and that's super cool to wear. And I didn't really want to take that off because, or take the sweatshirt off because that Lycra shirt makes me look like a busted can of biscuits. So yeah, here we are. Anyway, should you charge application fees? The question is, should you charge them? How much? Blah, blah, blah. And now let me just go back a little bit and tell you how I used to do it. So back in the day, there I am. I'm a one-man show. I'm showing properties. I look like I'm 12 years old, and they're thinking that I'm showing properties for my dad, which I wasn't. They were my properties. And they would show up at the properties, and they'd say, well, how's the application work? And I used to say, well, I would get their information, jot it down on the back of a napkin or whatever I could find in my car, and not even check their photo IDs, and really didn't even have a freaking clue in terms of who it was I was even renting to. So I kind of prided myself in the fact that I didn't charge application fees and, just kind of used my judgment. Well, that was a disaster. So, needless to say, I had to switch that after a few horrible evictions and then realized I didn't even really know the spelling of these people's names because I actually never checked their photo ID. So then I started getting photo IDs. I kind of, did what everybody else does. And at the time, the internet was a few years old. So I was able to find an application on the interwebs. And I don't even think Google was around then. I think it was just Yahoo was probably the big 800-pound gorilla search engine, if you understand how long ago that was. But I found an application, kind of put an application together, kind of made like a one-pager. At least it was something that I was getting their information on. Still didn't get their social security number, didn't really have a way of pulling credit. Still didn't charge an application fee. So there was a couple times, I think, where where it really kind of hit me hard was I had a couple. I remember I don't remember their names. I think I blocked it out from my memory, but I remember them well because we had been communicating and we had, they liked the house. They couldn't wait to move in. We'd been talking all week. I put the lease together and I showed up to the property and they never showed. So I called them, say, hey, I'm at the property. I'm ready, I'm ready for you to move, ready for you to move in. And they never called me back. And they never, ever showed up again in my world. Like, they just completely ghosted me. So it was at that point I decided, I was, super pissed about it, obviously. So I decided that I needed to do something different. So I had to, shift over to, just this different mindset of I have to charge an application fee. I have to do something because if these people don't have any skin in the game whatsoever, they have no reason to commit to me whatsoever. They didn't commit to me. Money equals commitment. They had not committed in any particular way. And of course, as I got on, down the road, I realized that, just doing this fly by the seat of my pants thing just wasn't working. So I started checking public records, and then I got to the point where I could actually pull credit and, check and see how they were actually accomplishing their, or seeing how they were actually living, if they were good credit risk, bad credit risk, whatever. So it's funny. It reminds me of like an interview process that, high performers expect there to be a little bit of a journey, right? They expect, if you're interviewing a high quality candidate, for a high CEO position, there's going to be multiple interviews. You might have to meet with the board. You might have to, you might have to prove yourself in some way, maybe a physical challenge. Who knows? I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool, gladiator style. But whatever. There has to be, high performers are going to expect some hoop jumping. Well, it's the same with any application process. Now, you don't have to make it arduous, but just make sure you're checking the relevant boxes. Just make sure that you're checking the things that make the most sense. So, should you charge an application fee? It's an absolute no-brainer, yes. Money equals commitment. And I don't think you should get, excessive about it, and I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. But you can charge, per adult applicant. You can charge one flat fee. You can do whatever you want. The litmus test that I would use if you're looking to charge an application fee, and if you don't have any, you could shop what your local competitors are doing. You can call in and shop them, or have someone else call and shop, a local property manager, maybe see what other landlords are doing. But, generally you're going to want to see what other businesses are doing, and you can match them. But the litmus test that I like to use is if you have a charge, if you're paying for something, even if it's just your time, there should be an offsetting revenue that comes in to offset that charge, right? So if I'm paying for an credit portfolio or credit pull for one applicant, for one adult, then I should get something that matches that, right? So if, let's say for argument's sake, you have $20 that goes out for an application or for a credit pull, and then maybe you charge $45. So that pays for the pull and it pays for your time to analyze that. So really it's kind of a break-even proposition. It really shouldn't be a revenue driver. This should really just be a loss, like basically looking to break even on your application fees. Some places, I swear, like they charge hundreds of dollars for application fees, and that's just asking for trouble. That's just asking for problems. So don't be excessive. Don't be a jerk. Like literally just find out what your costs are. And again, it's okay to value your time. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, again, you have to place a value on your time. Someone said that once. But don't be excessive. The other thing is, and this really doesn't have much to do with application fees, but I see this being done by new investors, and I think this is not like an application process like hiring a job applicant. You don't pool all the applicants and then select from the best. That's not what this is. And I see this happening all the time, and I just think it's bad practice. Argue with me if you want. I just think it's setting yourself up for a fair housing violation and a lawsuit. I don't like that. Like, I don't want to have to feel like I'm competing against someone else, that you're going to wait and see who's the best out of the lot. Like, how do I know that you didn't want to rent to me because I have children, right? Which is a fair housing violation. And I don't know, like you didn't want to rent to me, but you rented to them. How do I know who they rented? Like I know that I'm a qualified applicant before I go. Don't waste my time. Don't make me compete for it on some standard that I don't have any control over. So I see this all the time among, honestly, I see landlords of all different experience levels doing this. What they'll do is they'll pool their applications, and they might get, well, we're taking in applications now, and we'll pull from the best. We'll look and see who's the best. No, do not do that. Here's what you should be doing, and here's what I would absolutely advocate for you to do. Set your standards, and then when the applications come in, you vote them up or down, and then you move on. If they're voting up, then you get some sort of hold money or whatever, and then you set the move-in date, and everybody else after that you could hold as backup. You could say, hey, look, I've already got a commitment. I'll take a backup application at this point in case that something falls through, but I just want you to know the property is committed. But I don't, pool them. I vote them up or down. If I vote them down, then I move on to the next one in order. So it's really important that you accept them in order, that they're time-stamped. That's also the reason why I like my applications to come in electronically. So I know, really when the application arrived, and I know how to work it in order. So it's really important that you process them as they come in. Honestly, it's just looking for problems, and it's honestly just looking for a fair housing claim. So there's no reason to do it that way, and I would highly recommend you just do it. Set your standards and then vote them up or down. And that's all I have for today, everybody. So I'm going to go have some water, and hope to God I can get out of this sweatshirt, and hopefully, more importantly, I can actually get out of bed tomorrow morning. Well, anyway, this is all I have today. Please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have an awesome day, and I will see you next time.